Well, I was right. I thought I was smelling something. Alright, so level end time is not a member of F user stats. User stats is... Is it just F user stats, so it's going to be time? Alright. And it's, what, 2 in the morning over here? So perfect time for critters to be roaming around. I think somebody's dog just got... Victims are getting raped. No, they're locked in the... the barrel of acid. No, it's... I think one of the neighbors' dogs has gotten into a fight with a skunk, and I think they have lost that fight. It's not. It doesn't smell like it's my next door neighbors though. So somebody is having a very bad night right now. So yeah, keep the windows shut for tonight. Yeah, the other thing would be is there's somebody outside smoking dope or something like that. Since my nose is not attuned to the difference. Yeah, you don't really like the smell of that stuff. Yeah, I obviously don't either. So the times that show up should be identical now, basically. So let's go make sure that's the case. So once we get the stats all shown up properly, the next thing would be some sort of persistence for our missions, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8.57 seconds to score. Only 2 ball touches. Hit continue. 8.57 seconds. And then we've got 8.65 seconds. So where is this 8.65 coming from? Because we do get value for condition out of the stats. So this is end time minus start time, which is level end time and level start time. Wait, what? Level start time got screwed up, didn't it? Alright, well, mission end time, mission start time. Is that 12.87 minus that? So this stats is time is 0? No, it's not going to be 0. Oh yeah, it's because I need to set this value here. Right like that. I was basically not setting the value properly. Yeah, that's one of the annoying things about having various states legalizing weed is if you're trying to walk somewhere and you know like people are assholes about stuff all the time, but like cigarettes and vapes are, you know, it's really annoying to follow somebody, you know, who's doing that on like the street, on like the sidewalk or wherever. But people smoking weed on the sidewalk or something like that, it's just like Jesus Christ. It just stinks. Like it's one thing for it to just be rude or you know just a little bit annoying. It's another thing just be like you can't be downwind from somebody you know within like 100 yards. You know it's it's a completely different sort of magnitude of Jesus. This is just you know it's just air pollution. Yeah, some think nobody will smell. Oh yeah, nobody. It's because those people probably have their noses completely turned off to it when they're doing it. I mean, it's the same thing with people who vape or crap like that. And they're just like, you know, I don't see why it's a problem. It's like you have like a gigantic smoke cloud around your head, dude. Not only do you look like a douchebag, but you are a douchebag. Not sorry. 10.99 seconds. Ah, didn't work. Still got the wrong damn time, doesn't it? Okay, so it's gonna be this get value for stat. It might not be. Why don't we just make sure? So our mission end time is 27, our mission start time is 16. And what is this get value for stat? Stage is false. So, oh, well this is just wrong. This needs to be we need to return stats mission start time minus stats mission end time. Alright, so we need if the gameplay stats level start time is less than the end time. or they're equal to each other. Otherwise, we will return the level end time minus the level start time. Yeah, and so the difference there was basically one frame difference where the match is already over. Get value for stat. Yeah, so I think we need to do the same thing, don't we? It's basically going to be this. Yeah, just like that. Of course, these are pointers, so it'll eventually fail. Welcome back. And it's a whole bunch of edge cases with getting all this sort of stuff corralled into the right spot. So, lots of that going on. And this needs to be opposite. Mission start time is greater than mission end time. Yeah, okay, so it's really just this greater than or equal to Otherwise, the end time should be like there. Shouldn't be taken now unless we haven't ended. Unless we have, yeah. Yeah, I was talking to Adam this week about kind of the past update, because we got the new map out there, but I don't know, I think the reaction was a little lackluster compared to previous updates. Like we had a map. Things are good. Content was not too hard to make. That was all successful, but you know, the actual gameplay we haven't really touched in quite a while. So it's just this big smash fest, and we got the bots working at least, but the bots are too violent and all the rest of that for, you know, newer players. But it definitely looks like we'll be much more doubling down on making the single player game, since the mission system is coming along and there's a lot of stuff we can do with it. And I think the big reason why we weren't going for the single player game to begin with, and why we switched over to multiplayer, really has to do with that we are unable to make enough content for the game. In terms of, if you're making a single player game, you need to create, you know, like X number of hours of actual in-game content, right? And we were having a lot of problems just getting stuff out the door. 10.99 seconds. 10.99 negative 11? What the fuck? Yeah, alright, there it is. So our big issue then why we went multiplayer is because just no, the bots are not fine, right? Like that's you're saying, like, oh, the bots are fine, but the lag is there. It'd be like, no, the reality is the bots need to take into account lag if that's there. So we can go fix the lag problem, but we really can't fix the lag problem without a massive overhaul of lots of systems. You know, we need our own physics engine in there that's deterministic. We need to change how the movement works, and then basically at the end of that, you need to basically slow down the game. And I definitely would say they're not fine for normal mode. They need to be easier. They need to not be so violent. Anyway, I don't really want to argue about it. But the main thing being, we went for a multiplayer game because we weren't able to get out enough content for a single player game, such as making a level was taking Adam a very, very long time because of just learning, needing to learn how to sculpt and add materials and make textures and import everything was just taking forever. Like, we had those whole 3 months there where I was just working on water was basically us just learning how to use Unreal's materials and me learning the material system so I could help Adam use the material system as well. So I could go take over more complicated bits and get that in order. And as a result of all that visual target stuff, we went for a multiplayer game because it was like, okay, at the end of all this crap, we've got one level to grasslands. And it's like, well, we can't make a single player game with one level. This isn't going to work. So, but with how things are going currently, Adam's able to put out a level and actually go make all those assets in a very reasonable amount of time. You know, like the learning has happened to make all this stuff worthwhile. And the issue we're seeing right now is that the multiplayer systems that we would need, there's quite a bit of them. 12.99 seconds, 12.99 across the board. Awesome. And I didn't rank, so let's see if we can rank. "19 seconds, yeah. So we'll see. The single player stuff may be definitely what we're doing now then. 9.6, alright, I got diamond tier for that. And everything showed up. So stage 1, 9.56 seconds, all that. Excellent. What I think is going to be the focus is not necessarily even the just challenge missions. Probably we're going to be actually making the full story game. And the multiplayer stuff that we currently have is going to be there, but we may just slap on like some basic matchmaking and that sort of stuff. But the main thing is going to be that we have the story, is what it sounds like. No, not cinematics. That's not what we're talking about. Like, there's not going to be that many cinematics. I'm talking about single player, you know, actual missions. You know, like actual story missions. Not just story, but story missions and a story setup and everything like that. We failed. Why is this not a failure then? We continue. This is a post-stage screen, but we can't continue. Alright, fine. Alright, so post-stage screen, achieve tier, get achievement tier for stats. No, that's fine. Yeah, we're not on the same page with what you're thinking about in terms of story then. So don't worry about it. We're not thinking the same thoughts on it. Like if there are story missions, you're not Like, that's the whole point of a game, is it's not cinematic. You'll play the story. That's how games work. So it's a very different thing. You're not just going to be reading text. In fact, I don't even think there'll be any real text. Is there anything even in here for this post-stage screen? Yeah, I mean, with games, it's pretty simple. I shouldn't be so condescending, but games show the story through your actions. So I don't know how many games you've played that have story, but RPG games are always text and like crap like that. But other experience games are just you just see things happen. So I would imagine it'd be more of a you see things happen. And we're talking about real story missions, not cutscenes, not just here's a ball game and at the end of it you get a journal page or something. Like a story mission means a mission that actually has scripted actions that happen and things like that. So it tells a story. There's things that actually happen. So I think. All right, so I don't know. It's if you don't see, I don't even know what you mean by adventure games when you say that. Like, there's point and click adventure games, but other than that, adventure games can be very different. Like, anyway. So we have our history. The post-stage rank image is what we need. Remove rank classes. Okay, so the completion tier is none. That's not always true. We don't have our completion rank for the overall thing, so if we failed or not, we don't have that result doing. I think you're thinking about it too much. Don't worry about it. So add class, none achieve. We're not going to add any of that to any of these. Fail. So the completion rank needs to be that. Basically the lowest tier is grabbing it from these guys. What object do we even have? Yeah, I would imagine we would be telling some story directly through cinematics, and these are, small cutscene things, and there might be some direct here's some information, but I think it's more just going to be we'll have levels where there are things in those levels, and you see the results of your actions. So there's just going to be like, show what happens, don't explain what happens to things, and that's going to be more what we're doing. As for like actual like real cutscenes, like no, like I mean, those are always expensive. So what do we have on this stage? We have cutscene completion, result tier, failure message. I need the result of the stage, right? Mission completion has stage completion, which has completion tiers on it. So I guess we need a completion tier. So that's what we need. Alright, so inside of our missions, let's see, on stage over. So we need curse stage tier is going to be completion dot tier. Otherwise, we need to set this to that guy. Alright, so Alright, so that should do all those things for us. So let's build it. So we'll see. The whole game design is something that's pretty new for the single player game, which is going to be an actual single player game. The mission system I'm working on right now is, as it stands, more of a challenge mission system where you're working on challenges for missions. The So the UI that we're working on for this stuff is not what you would be seeing for kind of the story mission stuff, but the bones of the system are like all the C++ stuff is good for story missions. It's not good for story mission UI though. And we also want things that'll be replayable, and I think it's going to be a very different game. Like currently what we have is the ball game. Story mission's going to be very different. Story missions are going to be different. But we've got the core mechanics for everything that we need. But it's kind of interesting that we've kind of come full circle. We started off working on, we're going to make this single player story based game, and then we went to multiplayer game, and then we're coming back to let's do the single player game as the main thrust of it. So we'll see. But one of the big things for that multiplayer, making the multiplayer really work for Brackensack, is there are just a lot of systems that we have to completely rip out in order to get in there. Like, we just need our own physics engine. Like, the physics engine for Unreal just does not work over the network like that. It's just, it sucks. Even a couple seconds of... I'll send, this is the data, this is the position of the ball and the speed. On the server, it'll just do a different thing. It's just like, okay. So that's kind of ridiculous. And even then, as you've seen Adam kicking a ball on a flat plane, eventually it'll hit, something in the universe and just not work, and it's like, great. So one of the assumptions with the multiplayer game is that the physics for Unreal would work over the network for a lot of stuff. And that's just really not the case. So with the biggest obstacles to the single player being removed, which was the issue of not knowing how to create, the knowledge gap to being able to create content fast enough to actually create enough stuff and not take like 4 years to make the game, is really the biggest thing there. And kind of some of the issues with the multiplayer are that the simplest solution to pretty much everything with the multiplayer game right now is to slow the game down. Basically, have Bitey run only a certain amount of, only a certain speed, have the ball be a lot slower. Stuff like that would really improve the multiplayer game, because you'd be able to see people coming, you'd be able to make different decisions, even if we had lots of abilities and counters and whatever. It still doesn't change the fact that because you can turn on a dime and the character is responsive, that, if you're trying to do prediction and you have 300 milliseconds of round trip time to deal with, so Bitey can go in any direction for 300 milliseconds, it's kind of like, how are you supposed to predict that? There's no prediction that can work. Because it's like, where could he be? Well, Bitey is both a particle and a wave, so it is somewhere within this sphere. And you're just like, okay, right. Yeah, the other thing is, I'm pretty sure, like, 3v3 and 2, like, if we're against bots, like, we need matchmaking for the multiplayer game, and I think the main game there is going to be 1v1 or 2v2. It's just 3v3 is awful for most everybody. Alright, so I should just sit around and fail this match. Alright, so we actually do have our failure set up there. Where's our history here? And that little icon is wrong, so let's go fix it. So why is this like this? This is looking at the stage completions. No, we don't have a fail. And I think for the next, if we have failed, alright, so it'll be fail next mission. Yeah, 1v1 is definitely the most fun for pretty much all the maps. Some of the maps that are fun with more players are kind of the bigger ones, where you have more room to roll around. Or if people actually play positions, it can be like multiplayer, like more than 1v1 really only works right now with like multi-ball and things like that, where you can spread out the action. It works fine with stealth ball, but 3v3 is just a cluster, pretty much regardless. And the other thing is, if we had matchmaking, it would make things a lot more, how should I say it? It would make us being able to play the game on stream more relaxed and less stressful, such as if we had matchmaking, it wouldn't be, like kick Lucas out of the game because I want a 1v1 Zivik or something. It'd be everybody solo queue up, and then, Jeff against Karakan, me against, Void, something like that would just happen, as opposed to pretty much everybody just always being in the same match. That way people could kind of have their turn fairly with each other instead of us always just getting kind of exhausted playing against everybody all at once. So matchmaking is going to require the dynamic dedicated servers, which is fine. We can just get all this kind of organized here. Okay, that's better. And the question is, why don't we have any of these lines here with our results? Like, we should be getting them. We should have the result for time in here, because our post-stage tiers are not there. Okay, so here we are. So 10 ball touches, 30 seconds, but we failed our objectives and failed everything. All right. So this should be a retry button, and the retry button should be gone. I guess I could just hide the this other one. Alright, so there is no blah there. So we got retry and quit. Press start to continue is going to have to change. So let's do ID equals post stage continue text, and then we'll also have post stage start text. I mean post stage retry text. Let's do it this way. Let's have continue and retry. So let's grab these things. So let's hide everything to start with. So we can get rid of these. All right. This is not press start to continue. This is. Would you like to retry? You have failed. All right, let's see. This should have worked. For start to continue. We have fail show up there. Retry text dot show continue text hide. So retry text. I have them backwards. You have failed. Alright, so the result is that we have this, we have our retry and we have our quit. Alright, so the next thing is persistence. So we need to persist our information. Such as if we've seen those cutscenes or not. Alright, so let's see. We also want a few other things. So if we go to UI, scripts, globals,